At the age of 6, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was saved from a life of slavery by his uncle, who gave him a job in his successful caravan business. Married to a successful businesswoman in her own right, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ saw firsthand how the leading families of the Quraysh lived. They were arrogant, reckless, ungenerous, and egotistical, believed in riches, and took no responsibility for people outside their immediate elite circle. He was sure that social reform had to be based on a new spiritual foundation, though before the revolutions he had no idea that his destiny would be to implement these changes. Less than 100 years after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's death, in 632, the first Muslim historians began to write about his life. These were Muhammad ibn Ishaq, Muhammad ibn Umar al-Waqidi, Muhammad ibn Sa'd, and Abu Zarir at-Tabari. According to tradition, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was born in Mecca in 570, the year known as the Year of the Elephant, in which Mecca was miraculously saved. Tradition tells that Abraham, the Abyssinian Christian ruler of Yemen, attacked Mecca with a herd of elephants imported from Africa. Abraha's goal was to destroy the Kaaba and make the Christian church at Sana'a the new religious center of the Arab world. The terrified Quraysh had never seen an elephant, much less a whole herd, so they ran to the mountains to escape, leaving the Kaaba with no defense. But just as it was about to be attacked, the sky went dark as a flock of birds, each carrying a stone in its beak, rained down on an invading army, which was forced to retreat. His stories surround his childhood and birth. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's mother, a widow named Amina, one day heard a voice say to her, "You carry in your womb the Lord of this people, and when he is born, say, I place him beneath the protection of the One, from the evil of every envious person. Then name him Muhammad." Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was orphaned at the age of 6 when his mother died. Zabara writes movingly that her last words to her son were "Kun Rasula," meaning be a world changer. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ went to live with his grandfather Abdul Muttalib, who was in charge of providing the water of the Zamzam well to pilgrims. Abdul Muttalib, who had suffered the loss of his favorite son, took the young child under his wing. He taught his grandson the Arabic language in great detail, including how to present arguments effectively. During his time with his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ learned about slavery, a practice he abhorred. He took steps to immediately release his slave Baraka, who had been with him since his birth. But by the time he was 8 years old, his grandfather too had died. Fortunately, his uncle Abu Talib saved the young Prophet Muhammad ﷺ from a life of slavery or indebtedness experienced by so many orphans at the time. He employed him in his successful caravan business. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was only 9 years old, that a Christian monk named Bahira recognized him as the messenger of the Lord of the worlds. As a young man, Prophet Muhammad befriended a like-minded youth, 3 years his junior named Atik, whom he later named Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Prophet Muhammad had an acute sense of social justice, and even as a youth, he stood up to some powerful men in Meccan society earning their enmity. Prophet Muhammad with a group of friends as an older mentor established a pact known as Hilful Fudul to protect vulnerable vendors from abusive Meccan elders and to ensure honest financial dealings. They pledged to act to uphold the right of anyone who is wronged. At 25, when Prophet Muhammad was still unmarried and dependent on his uncle, he made a very distant cousin, Khadija radiallahu anha, a beautiful widow, then probably 28, as calculated by Zawara. Khadija radiallahu anha was unusual for a woman of her time. She was a respected member of Meccan society and a very successful businesswoman in her own right. In spite of his tenuous social circumstances, according to Ibn Hisham, Prophet Muhammad had a reputation for truthfulness, reliability, and nobility of character. And Khadija radiallahu anha entrusted him to take a caravan of goods to Syria and sell it. When he returned home with more profits than she anticipated, she sent 2 confidants to check him out. Both confidants gave her extremely favorable reports on his character and acumen. She then proposed marriage to him and he accepted, thus acquiring status and entry into Meccan society. Khadija radiallahu anha gifted him a slave of hers, Zayd, whom Prophet Muhammad promptly freed. Zayd, free to live, chose to live with Prophet Muhammad who adopted him as his son. Although polygamy was the norm at the time, Prophet Muhammad and Khadija radiallahu anha were in a monogamous marriage for 25 years until her death. He would spend time in contemplation, first at home, and then he began going to a cave in Mount Hira, accompanied by his young cousin Ali radiallahu anha and his adopted son Zayd. Tradition states that one day when he was about 40 years old, Prophet Muhammad was alone and asleep in the cave on Mount Hira, when he saw before him, like the brightness of the dawn, an angel who commanded that he recite. Prophet Muhammad said that he could not do so. Then he took me and squeezed me vehemently, and then let me go and repeated the order recite. I cannot recite, said I, and once again he squeezed me and let me go till I was exhausted. Then he said, recite. I said, I cannot recite. He squeezed me for a 3rd time and then let me go and said, recite in the name of your Lord who created. From an embryo created the human. Recite your Lord is all-giving, who taught by the pen, taught the human what he did not know before. The human being is a tyrant. He thinks his possessions make him secure. To your Lord is the return of everything. Surah Al-Alaq, Ayah number 1 to 8 from Al-Quran. In his reading, the word Ikra means to blossom or allow yourself to blossom. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, not knowing how to blossom, answered Ma Ikra, or I don't know how to blossom. The word blossom conveys a different sense to the first word ever revealed to the Prophet. Communicates the idea of achieving one's full potential, of blossoming, of transcending normal consciousness to cultivate a greater perceptive capacity. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was terrified, and he staggered down the mountain and sought Khadija radhiyallahu anha, crying, "Wrap me up, wrap me up." Khadija radhiyallahu anha covered him in a cloak and held him, and when he was calmer, questioned him. He told her what he had experienced and that he feared he had gone mad. But Khadija radhiyallahu anha had no doubt that his revelation was authentic. From the first revelation, the surahs of the Quran would deal with matter of beliefs, law, politics, rituals, spirituality, and personal conduct, cosmology, and economics. As noted in the studied Quran, the fourth or the seventh revelation came after a long period, which may have lasted 12 or 40 or 50 days. It is further noted that an idolater said to him at that point that it seems your Satan has forsaken you. According to his account, According to this account, Surah 93 of the Quran was revealed to him at this time, bringing reassurance with it that God had not forsaken him. Thus, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ became a messenger whose duty it was to remind his people of what they had forgotten in both religious and social terms. Those close to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were the first to believe in his revelations. Ali radhiyallahu anhu, who was taken in by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when his father Abu Talib was in financial distress, was the first. Then Zayd, who remained at his side, although he had been a Syrian slave, until he was given his freedom by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The merchant Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu was the third to join the believers. He had reputations for kindness and honesty, and once he joined Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, others who knew him did the same. The advent of Quranic revelation, Zibara writes that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's confidence had returned after a low period during which he was disillusioned by Meccan society and personal tragedies. But he was able to counter that with a mindset.